There you see it, everyone. As posted recently by the BBC and all of the major football news channels, we have not been punished by the Premier League. We are not receiving a points deduction. Chris, how do you feel?
Over the moon, absolutely over the moon. Because it just proves that sometimes the little guys can win the big war.
I mean,
and we fought before.
Sorry, Chris, you're cutting up a bit there. Chris, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
So you're saying about the little guys?
Yeah, I say it's proof that the little guys can win a big war, because we've been fighting the Premier League for this pretty much for a year, and we finally won our battle. We finally won the war.
We have. Do you think Everton and Nottingham Forest fans will be annoyed that they've received one and we won't?
I don't think so, because they were in the Premier League when they were first being when this was first brought in. We had just been relegated to the Championship, which is why we've been successful in this appeal. It seems like.
Sorry, Chris, you're cutting out again.
Okay, I'm moving.
So if you can get a better connection, I'll just wait a moment. I'm just going to bring in the link is out there for anyone who wants to come on and have a say about their say regarding about the points deduction we're not going to receive. Do you think this will now spur on the team to? Do you think this shadow has been now lifted from us? Do you think this will spur the team on to? Come on, we can do this now. We can actually stay up in this league.
Oh, absolutely, because we all sort of thought, knowing the fact that we're potentially going to have a points deduction, we needed to try and really fight to stay in the league. Now that pressure, so to speak, has been lifted. That doesn't mean that I hope that doesn't mean that the team's going to take a more relaxed approach now. But I just heard, no, it does mean that we can now win without the pressure, because we know that whatever points we get is ours. We're sticking with them.
We're sticking with them. So I'm going to remove you, Chris, for a moment. I'm just going to bring in someone else just to come on and speak. Ryan, are you ready to come on? Good evening, Ryan. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How's you, mate?
Not bad. When you found out the news, how happy were you?
I got to say, I didn't see this coming. I really thought we were going to get a points deduction. I really seriously did. But this has come absolutely out of the blue and out of nowhere.
I had a really stressful day at work. Opened my phone and went, I couldn't. It's like I couldn't believe it. I'm thinking we won.
I know.
It's just mad.
Amazing.
Do you think this will help us with our season and making sure the players? Is this like a manager saying, like, remember when Klopp was leaving Liverpool and the players were like, "Yeah, let's play for Klopp," and do you know when Vichai passed away, the players were like, "Let's do this for Vichai." Is this like another one of them moments to spur the players on?
Yes, certainly. I think with this news that has come out just now, I think for me this is going to lift the whole squad and everybody associated with the club, and I think it's going to lift the performances on the field, because this is a dark cloud that has been looming over us for quite a significant period of time, and I think now that this has come out and we've been cleared, I think it's going to spur the players on to kickstart our season. I really do.
Because do you think when we were making signings in the summer, players and their agents were kind of like, come to Leicester's a good team, but this is the dark side of the club at the moment? Do you think the players that didn't come, they think they'll be like, "Oh, I should have gone there now," like Zaha and who's that other guy that went to? Was the other player we were playing with, the striker who went to Hoffenheim.
Oh, I've forgotten his name now.
I forgot his name, but do you think players like that would have wished they come to Leicester now, or do you think they made the right choice?
They probably would have made the right choice because we weren't to know what was going to happen, so they probably made the right choice. Really. Oh, that Hoffenheim striker was Holishek.
Yes, it was. It was, but yeah, it's been really good news. Well, thank you for coming on, Ryan. I might bring on a little bit. So I'm going to drop you out and bring in Nick if Nick's ready.
Okay.
That huge smile on your face, Nick. You've been Mr. Negative for a while.
I'm not Mr. Negative. Not at all. I'm negative on the board for putting us in the position in the first place.
But when you saw that post, when you opened your phone and you saw that post by Leicester City, how happy were you?
Well, you saw the smile on my face.
All your thoughts?
How have we got away with it? The lawyer that's found the technicality for us to get away with it, he's player of the season for me. He's give him a statue outside the King Power, and I've already put on the group. We've got the perfect chance to wind up the Everton fans and the Forest fans. You know, points deduction. You'll never sing that. Keep it going. So no, it's good news. I also agree, kind of what you said about some of the players regretting it. Probably will do now. I think you probably think maybe Enzo Maresca maybe have second thoughts now of what he did going to Chelsea. Because I think honestly that's why he went to Chelsea, because he knew what we were facing. So no, how can you be upset now? You know, the monkey's off her back, and it gives the players ammunition now to fight and claw and help us stay in the league.
I've just received a message, and in an article, the Premier League stated it is of critical importance that the Premier League is able to enforce the rules consistently to maintain a principle of fairness. The league will now consider what further action it can take to ensure this is the case. So even though the Premier League
is that the Premier League spitting a dummy out because they can't put punishers. So we've got away with it. But hang on a second, why don't they focus on Manchester City and their 115 charges that they've been charged with? How about the focus on Chelsea? How about the focus on Manchester United and the dodgy dealings they've been doing? But they won't, because they're the big boys.
If this private adjudicator, which I bet the Premier League picked this adjudicator, and them saying, let's have a point here. They're not in the wrong here. You're in the wrong. And if they say we've done nothing wrong in their eyes, how can the Premier League punish us?
Exactly. And at the end of the day, John, the only reason all these stupid rules come in the first place is because we upset the apple cart and we won the Premier League, and they didn't want a little Leicester City to win the Premier League or a club like our size to do it ever again. They just want the so-called Big Six, or your Man Cities, Liverpools, Arsenals, etc. to win it. They want it a close shot.
Yeah. So when you see, Chelsea spending 1.4 billion or 5 billion now, probably in 2 years, Man City breaking all those rules within, when they first won the Premier League up to the year two, I think it was 2020 or something around there.
They've got 115 charges, haven't they?
So they've got all those teams there that are, those two teams specifically who have got a massive problem with PSR. You are right that why can't they be focused now rather than us? Why are they focusing all their effort on us? We've just come up fair and square in the Championship. We didn't,
Yeah.
So why do we have to the focus now? But here we go. So I'm going to add in.
I always use a club from your neck of the woods in Newcastle, supposedly one of the richest clubs in the world, but because of this stupid rule, this profit sustainability rule, they can't use the wealth that they've got to bring in the type of players to make them, big. I mean, let's be fair. Newcastle United are a big club. The fan base is massive. The fans in the northeast, it's a religion to them.
It's this club, like I've never seen a fan base like Newcastle's. Like I can go in the city centre now, and half the city would be wearing football shirts.
It's a religion up there. It is a religion up there, and the thing is, again, I would classify Newcastle as a big club, but because of this stupid PSR, they can't spend their wealth.
Nope, and that even though Newcastle are a massive club in Britain, in the UK. Globally, they're not as big as United or Chelsea or Man City. They don't get the sales and the pull that the big clubs do. So therefore, they can't spend the money because they're not earning back the money they're going to spend. So
the thing is, though, Jono, it wasn't that long ago. Manchester City weren't one of those clubs. The only reason they became that club is because they spent their money. It wasn't that long ago. They were playing in the third tier. I remember watching them playing in the third tier.
It's absolute madness. I'm just going to bring Chris and Ryan back in if you're ready.
Yeah, go for it.
So we've had all of you on now. It's been an absolute, as in like, well, I've just read that quote from someone from Facebook say, and then it actually is a news article saying that the Premier League will now do anything they can to try and force the points on us, or find another way to punish Leicester City, i.e. a transfer ban or something like that. Do you guys think that will still have an effect on Leicester, or do you think this is it now? The thing is,
we'll just appeal it again.
Too right, because at the end of the day, like, we've won our appeal, so Premier League, accept it and move on.
Yeah.
Like I said, Chris, you go to Manchester City and do their 115 charges.
Exactly, yeah. Or Chelsea, again, they've got charges against them as well, and they're still not paying the price either.
Man United, how much have they spent the last few years?
Yeah. Focus on the big boys rather than us little guys that are trying everything we can to stay in the Premier League.
Yeah.
No.
That's it. Like, look at Ipswich. They've spent a lot of money this transfer window trying their best to have the players to try and stay up. But will they have the same problem as Nottingham Forest a year later? They have the PSR problem that we've got. We don't know.
I don't with Ipswich. I probably wouldn't have thought so, because let's be fair, even before Forest went up and spent all that money, they were still trying to buy their way out of the Championship for years and years and years. Ipswich kind of have done it bit by bit, haven't they? And they've just got lucky where they got double promotions back to back. So they sort of rode away from the momentum a little bit. So I think Ipswich might be all right. So,
well, that's the thing. Like as Imran just said, that's a problem. Premier League will not move on. They'll find something else to screw as well. To be honest.
Yeah, but Imran, like I said,
we'll just
go back
do
and
what we did
you
today.
Appeal it again. And you keep on. It's a vicious circle. Let's be fair. They keep on going. They're not. People are just going to get more ratty that they're not pushing ahead with the Manchester City charges.
Well, sorry, was someone saying something there? Was that Ryan trying to say something?
Yeah, I think so.
I think he's his connection is dead and buried. Unlike his point deduction. I know he's back. He's back. But some of the players like Mick, funny comments saying, I mean, the Premier League having to sell Dewsbury Hall because at the beginning of the season, we had to sell Dewsbury Hall. We in the summer we couldn't keep it because we want to go back into it again. We had to sell him. We had to get Dewsbury Hall and buy Golding and another deal to the PSR rules.
Sell Harvey Barnes last season, before the start of last season.
I think Harvey wanted to go.
I know, but what I'm saying is we had to sell him because he would come through the youth academy. It's the same deal. Maddison we had to get rid of.
Yeah. No, I mean, with Maddison, I can definitely see why we want to. If we was going to, we'd sue for that. With Barnes, I think it was more to do with the fact that he didn't want to play in the Championship. So, it was only right to sell him for that reason. So I wouldn't say be able to do anything for Barnes.
Well, it's just frustrating how the club had to sell Dewsbury Hall, because I know from personal sources that Joel didn't want to leave Leicester. He didn't want to go.
No.
He didn't want to leave.
But he is happy with his move to Chelsea, but he wanted to stay. So if Leicester knew that this was going to happen a bit earlier, we could have kept him. But I think we've bought really well. I think Mad buying tons of players have been quite sensible. So
we've strengthened where we needed to strengthen. It's not a case of we've just bought players willy-nilly. And this is why I praise Cooper, certainly for this transfer window, because of the fact that he's seen our weaknesses and he's done his best in a sort of financial climate where he had to be careful to try and strengthen them. So fully praised for that.
I think under the restrictions that we were under, before this evening, I think as the window as a whole, we did okay. Beforehand, before deadline day, for example, I was giving it a D- because, let's be fair, we were waiting on that striker. But when you work it out on the whole, it's not too bad. And let's be fair, the first 3 performances this season, there's been plenty in there to suggest that we're going to make a good go of it and try and stay up. It reminds me a hell of a lot of the Greatest Escape season and how we weren't really out of games, if you remember that season. So, yeah. Everything to be positive. Just get behind Cooper now, and that includes people like Locks, who's anti-Cooper, and Reedy, who's a little bit anti-Cooper.
They're not anti-Cooper. They're anti-playing two TMs.
No.
No.
I'm sorry. There's definitely some anti-Cooper. 100%.
I'm up for Leicester just playing well, and I think it's as much as players would, will try their best to stay up. With this now gone, I think players will play knowing that actually we can actually try and stay up now and not worry about it. But I'm going to drop you all out because I'm going to have Reedy come on and join me for a bit. Thank you all for coming on. I really appreciate it.
And there you go, guys. Take care.
You're welcome.
See you later.
Hi, Reedy. You all right?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm all right. I heard my name, so I thought I'd quickly come on.
Come on. You were out, weren't you, when the noise broke?
Yeah, it's very good to hear. Obviously, we didn't know, first of all, if it was a point deduction, part of it, but it is. Thank God it is. Amazing news to hear. Just hopefully it can push the players along now, because again, I heard my words. Heard people talk about what I kind of was before I joined and saying I'm Mr. Cooper out and whatnot. But
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
I'm not saying you. I'm just saying that I'm not Cooper out. I'm more like the point of we just need to change the side up a bit, and hopefully just even this little bit of confidence, which is obviously massive confidence for all the fans. A little bit of confidence, hopefully, from hearing this from the players will give them a bit of boost, because, like I say, it's massive news for the Leicester fans. It's just hopefully the players see it as a big thing as well. So
that's it. Do you feel a bit nervous how the fact the Premier League is still saying they can find ways to punish Leicester for the breaking the PSR rules? Well, according to this adjudicator, which I'm guessing the Premier League did pick themselves, not us, that we didn't do any wrongdoing, so don't deserve a point deduction. So can the Premier League do anything to us anyway?
It's mainly the EFL now, because obviously we were in the Champions League last year and we had a expensive squad last year, so they could probably do something to us. But like everyone says, they can't do anything to us in the Premier League, like the Premier League couldn't do anything to us when we're in the EFL. So there shouldn't be anything wrong. I honestly do think we did breach rules, but because of this massive loophole that the lawyers, solicitors, or whoever it is found, we've escaped it just. And I feel like it's all because of a technicality in a way that, say, there's some wording that we've kind of said, well, we're not in the league at that point at a certain time, which is very lucky for us. And in a way, as much as it was a bad thing we got relegated, it's probably the best thing for us, because now we're not getting a point deduction. If we didn't get relegated, we probably would have had these point deduction.
Yes, I mean, yeah.
We would have had this point deduction if we didn't go down. So Our best
Well,
chance
yeah.
now is surviving, because if we don't, we would have been relegated this season either way. In a way,
That's the thing. Like, I think regardless, we're going down last season or this season. We didn't have a choice. But it's just mad how the Premier League is still. But what are your thoughts on the fact that even though we've not getting this points deduction, are you still annoyed how the Premier League is still pursuing a punishment, even though there's clubs like Man City or Chelsea who have most likely broken the rules?
well, because of the amount of charges they've got, I'm guessing it's going to take more than this little time that we've had for them to get that sorted. Because again, we've only broken 2 or 3 rules, and we've obviously finally overcome it. But again, they've got many charges to try and go through, and people have said that if we can get away with something like this and we have officially broken rules, but we've got out of it, then surely all these bigger clubs can get out of it. I don't think that's going to be the case, because like Man City's got 115 charge, whoever it is. So they even with one of the charges stick, they're going to get a point deduction. Like, we have only broken 2 or 3 rules or wherever it is, so we were lucky to get out of them, but they're not going to get away with over 115 charges. But like I said, I just hope this big news for us is big news for the players, because again, all we've seen the players, like, they've not mentioned the point deduction one bit. I don't think they really care. They just want to focus on winning games and whatnot. So I just hope that this gives them a bigger boost and says, now we've not got a point deduction in the way, we can try and get as many points as we can to stay in the league without a point deduction.
That's it.
In a factor of, if you get 39 points with 10-point deduction, you're going to get 29 and you're probably not going to stay up. So now you've got a free access to try and stay up, but on your own accord, which is good.
That's it. Because even though the players technically we didn't have a point deduction yet anyway, the players know that any points we get now will probably just be taken away anyway. So it gives an incentive now for the players to know that any point they do earn is very, very important, and that if we've got no potential. But I've just like this. Simon's put a message here that the FA have published their own article saying that after the game, the players went up to the referee and complained about the decision, about the way the referee, blocked the ball for the through pass in the Villa game that led to the disallowed goal. The FA have said that they're going to punish us, maybe a fine for approaching the ref. So everyone's out for blood against Leicester.
I get that point of it, because when I was obviously there live watching the game, you can see the amount of players going up to the ref and like saying, how is this like even allowed or even possible? Why are you disallowing stuff? Like, we all know and we all see the ref against Villa was absolutely woeful for both teams, not just us. And it's just unfortunate. Like I said, we had to get a bit more, I wouldn't say aggressive, but we had to be a bit more unbehaved, like the words they said, because we were pissed off with the decisions they're making. And I saw someone's comment the other day after that came out, and they were saying about, well, we can get fined, but what about the ref? Because the ref was just as bad as what we were. Like, there's a reason why our players behaved how they did, because of how inconsistent and how crap the ref was. So, but the refs won't get any sort of thing. They won't get dropped down to a different league for having an awful game. They'll just still play in the Premier League. So, like I say, it seems like everyone out for us, but the main big one is the fact that we haven't got a point deduction, and we know we're not going to get a point deduction this season. So all we can do now is try and stay up on our own accord, and hopefully, like I say, the players won that. And like I say, any points that they get now, like I say, even the Spurs point, that is big for us already. And before, that would have been taken away at some point. So it's good to see.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's now going forward, knowing that this shadow is just dispersed, and all the players that have joined us, especially the guy, I can't pronounce his bloody, the new guy we just got,
El Canoes.
Yeah. No, he's come to the club. He would have known about this overshadowing point deduction. He's now going to think, right, I've got to really prove myself now. I've got to really help this club stay up. I think it's just it's a breath of fresh air, but the club of now have got to behave. We can't, because if we got away with it this time, we're not going to get away with it again. So the club we've now got to behave, spend wisely, and just think, right, just don't go overboard with the wages.
The most annoying thing about this whole thing that's just come out today is the fact that it's come out after the window's closed. A lot of players we've wanted to get throughout the window has been a factor in why they've not joined the club over joining the club, and it's because of the point deduction. People don't want to get relegated. People don't want on their CV or on their player career to have a relegation in their club in their CV. So maybe they've not joined because of this point deduction looming over us. Now it's disappeared because it's been approved. It's been wiped off in a way. It's already past the transfer window date. So now it's kind of the point of we've got who we've been able to get, but we probably could have got a lot better if this wasn't looming over us until now.
According to this post, that is the only second point deduction we're free from in case that's not already been said. So I'm guessing he's saying that out of all the cases we've got, and we're only avoiding 1 point deduction. Maybe there's other point deductions we're not going to get, or do you think that's a nonsense comment?
No, I think the only big one is the fact is we're not going to get a point deduction this year. I think if there's anything else that we've done wrong or we're getting point deducted for, then it won't be for this season, because the new one for this season was this one that was from 22-23 season, which meant the point deduction would be this year, but it's not going to be the case anymore. So if there's any point deductions now, for instance, if we did get relegated, the EFL probably could come to us and say, right, you're back in the EFL now, we can point deduct you for the year you were in the EFL last year. So yeah, but again, it all depends on if we get relegated this year, which hopefully not. After this is going to be a big impact. So,
well, that's been the breaking news. We can't, like, we are saying we're not going to get points deduction, but hopefully over the next few days there'll be more clarity and proper professionals we'll be talking about on Sky Sports more about it, so we'll know more about it. But as of now, based on the reports, especially this one, which is my favourite one, where is it? Leicester City will not receive a Premier League points deduction, which is my favourite one, if you would agree, really.
Oh, completely, mate. Like I say, this was the one where even at away games this season, we've sang, what's the actual words for it? Minus points, who gives a fuck? I'm trying to think of the words. Minus points, who gives a fuck? The Leicester boys are staying up. There you go. But now we don't even need to sing it because we're not going to be minus points.
There we go. Well, hopefully, for the next few days, we'll hear more news about it. Hopefully, there'll be more news reports that will help clarify it, not, give us more in-depth information about it. But cheers, everyone, for coming on and watching. Cheers, everyone who was a guest. And we will see you. When's the next show? Is it Locks on Thursday?
It will be Locks on Thursday at 6:30, yes.
So come on Thursday, 6:30 to see Locks with the Premier League show and talking more about Leicester. We'll just see you then. Where's the outro?
For exclusive extra shows, behind the scenes, competitions and podcasts, subscribe to Leicester Fan TV today on Patreon.